The Forest of Giggles and Grumbles. Once upon a time, deep in the heart of the Gigglewood Forest, lived the funniest animals you could ever imagine. It was a place where trees told jokes, mushrooms sang silly songs, and even the rivers had a sense of humor. But not everyone in the forest liked to laugh. At the edge of the forest lived a grumpy old hedgehog named Grumblebark. He was famous for never smiling. Not even a little smirk. The other animals in the forest tried everything to make him laugh, but Grumblebark would just roll his eyes and say, "Bah, who needs laughter when you've got prickles?" One sunny morning, a group of mischievous critters decided it was time to turn things around. There was Pippin the chipmunk, Tilly the fox, and Squeak the squirrel. They formed a secret club called the Giggle Gang, and their mission was simple: make Grumblebark laugh, no matter what. "Let's start with a classic prank," Pippin suggested, rubbing his tiny paws together. "We'll fill his house with bubbles." So, that's exactly what they did. When Grumblebark waddled back to his burrow that afternoon, he opened the door and, pop, 1,000 colorful bubbles flew out. They bounced around the trees, floated up into the sky, and one even landed on his prickly nose. Grumblebark snorted. "Bubbles? Really?" But then, one bubble got stuck on his quills and refused to pop. He tried shaking it off, but it wobbled like a jelly bean, making the silliest noises: bloop, bloop. Grumblebark's mouth twitched. Was that almost a smile? The Giggle Gang wasn't done yet. Next, they set up a talent show for the animals of the forest. The deer did ballet, the frogs played tiny banjos, and the rabbits tried stand-up comedy. When it was Squeak the squirrel's turn, she put on a ridiculous wig made of moss and started doing impressions of all the animals in the forest. She mimicked the owl by saying, "Who forgot to set their alarm?" and the turtle by moving in super slow motion while shouting, "Wait for me!" The whole forest was rolling with laughter. Except Grumblebark. He was watching from behind a tree, his arms crossed, trying hard not to crack up. But it was no use. Squeak's impression of him, waddling around and saying, "Bah, who needs laughter," finally did the trick. Grumblebark let out a sound no one had ever heard before, a giggle. It started small, like a rusty door creaking open, but soon it turned into a full-blown laugh. "Ha ha ha ha! Oh, this is ridiculous!" The animals gasped. Was this really happening? Grumblebark, the grumpiest creature in the forest, was laughing. From that day on, the Gigglewood Forest became even sillier. Grumblebark still had his prickly moments, but every once in a while, you could hear his chuckles echo through the trees. And whenever someone asked him why he laughed, Grumblebark would say, "Because sometimes, even a hedgehog needs a good giggle." The end.